What's going on, YouTube? I just wanted to do this video just to go over a few things regarding the plea deal possibilities and how it works pretty much in the state of Michigan when it comes to taking the plea deal in a criminal case. So I'm going to read a few key factors that a criminal defendant should consider before taking a plea deal. So as we all know, he has his final probable cause hearing tomorrow, August 4th. At this final probable cause, it's a possibility that it could be plea negotiations that could be discussed. That could be a topic that's one of the varying factors that happens at a probable cause, along with any pretrial motions as well, any administrative tasks they had to take up as well before the trial. So I'm going to actually read this website, from a law firm. And it just pretty much breaks down how the plea deal pretty much works in the state of Michigan and whatnot. Honestly, though, with this situation, I feel like if he was to take a plea deal, he probably would have done that sooner. Jarvis has been locked up since 2024. He's not talking from what it seems or appears. I don't think he's gonna take a plea deal. Should he take a plea deal? My personal opinion, yes. I personally do, or that's what I would like to see is a plea deal. But who knows? I feel like for a plea deal, you have to have something to offer in exchange, usually to the prosecution. If you don't have it, they probably won't accept a plea deal or even offer it, because it is up to the prosecution whether or not they want to offer him a plea deal. It's not up to the judge or his defense attorneys, because the prosecution has the burden of proof. They're the ones who offers the plea deal if they see fit for one. As far as them offering a plea deal, if they were if I was a prosecutor, I would offer a plea deal in exchange to find out where the remains of the decedent is. That's what I would do as a prosecutor. That's what I feel like they should have done or should do. And I feel like the search should have continued. Or what I would like to see is her found and take any possibilities off the table. That way, no plea deals, no nothing. You don't have anything to offer in exchange. Because that's pretty much that would be the only thing I can see that would pretty much give them any reason to offer any type of plea in his type of situation, even though he's still going to do time regardless. But it would be that. And if she was found, you wouldn't have nothing to offer at all, period. That's just how I feel like. That's what I would like to see happen. And in a situation where we don't leave him any room to get out, or any type of wiggle room to maneuver his way through the system as he's done previously in the past. So I just feel like he's not gonna take a plea. Should he take a plea? Yes, he should. It would definitely save the taxpayer dollars. Because we know you're guilty. That's for sure. But it would also spare a lot of trauma to the victims as well too, and that's to the victims and the witnesses. Put it like that, pretty much. So that's how I feel like he should take a plea deal. It would be in his best interest too. But I'm gonna read this article. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Now, these are important factors to consider when taking a plea deal. A guilty plea can result from a plea bargain where the defendant agrees to plead guilty in exchange for reduced charges or a lighter sentence, thus avoiding the uncertainty and potential severity of a trial verdict. Additionally, the desire to expedite the legal process and reduce legal costs can influence this decision, as trials can be lengthy and expensive. Some defendants may plead guilty due to overwhelming evidence against them, believing that a plea bargain is their best chance for a more lenient outcome. Others might plead guilty to mitigate stress and emotional toll on themselves and their families, seeking to move past a difficult chapter in their lives quickly. And that was what I meant earlier a little bit when I said, as far as him taking the plea, to spare a lot of victims and witnesses, including potentially family members or whoever is involved. It would spare them that stress and that emotional toll on them as well too. Most of these victims and witnesses are minors, and it's just that I feel like that would pretty much spare them of the agony of that. But I can't see this kind of monster doing that, so we don't know. We don't know if he's going to take if he's going to take one or not. If he's even offered one, we don't know that either. But yeah, let me finish reading what this says. Still, some unwittingly plead guilty to crimes in Michigan due to a lack of understanding of their legal rights, the implications of a guilty plea, or inadequate legal representation. This scenario often arises when individuals feel pressured by the complexity of the legal system, are overwhelmed by the prosecutorial evidence presented against them, or are enticed by plea bargains that seem to offer a quick resolution but may not be in their best interest. Okay. So that's pretty much it that I had to read on that. Give me 1 second. It was something else I wanted to share. Okay, this is a little bit more in-depth information on the plea deal, so I'm going to share this and read this with you guys as well too. And this is also from another law firm here in Michigan. Okay. It says, although plea deals can be beneficial to defendants in Michigan criminal cases, it is important to remember that a plea agreement always offers some value to the prosecution if it is offered. Plea deals can help reduce the workload of the prosecutor and DA, but may also signal that the prosecution's evidence is shaky or lacking. Witnesses are not readily available, or for any reason, conviction is unlikely. Defendants may be able to receive a reduced charge or sentence based on a plea deal. However, the consequences could be negative as well, especially if you fail to consult an experienced criminal defense lawyer before accepting a plea deal. Rights you give up when accepting a Michigan plea bargain. When you enter a guilty plea or nolo contendere, no contest plea, you forfeit multiple rights. It is extremely difficult to change or withdraw a plea in a criminal case, so it is critical to be aware of the rights you give up by accepting a plea bargain before you take any action. If you accept a plea deal, you forfeit the following rights. Rights to a trial. So that means pretty much if he has a plea deal or takes a plea deal, we will not see a trial at all. We'll see a plea, we'll see a sentencing, and that's pretty much it. And we get to see the victims' families' impact statements. That's usually how it would go in the process of a guilty plea when it comes to the sentencing. So, sorry. Now, back to what I was saying. If you accept a plea deal, you forfeit the following rights: rights to a trial, rights to appeal a decision, rights to an attorney appointed to you at the expense of the public if you cannot afford one. So not only would he be giving up, Jarvis would be giving up a rights to a trial, but he would also give up his rights to appeal that decision as well too, pretty much, if he was to take a plea deal. This goes to enter a plea in Michigan criminal cases. A defendant may plead guilty to a charge, admitting that he or she is guilty of the charges faced. If you plead guilty, you waive all the rights listed above, including the right to appeal, unless a skilled criminal appeals attorney can help you file a successful post-conviction motion to change or withdraw your plea, or file a motion for an evidentiary Ginther hearing. Defendants may also plead no contest or nolo contendere, which essentially results in the same waiver of rights as a guilty charge without the defendant admitting guilt. This was the same type of plea deal that Stephen Stearns did in the Madeline Soto case. He just pleaded guilty. He did a no contest plea to the murder, but pled guilty to the sexual abuse in her case. Although a nolo contendere plea denies that the defendant is guilty of the charges, he or she is still sentenced for the offense. A no contest plea will not remain on your record as a post-conviction and could benefit you if you face future criminal charges or other legal procedures. Sorry. Okay, where was I? It says, if you plead not guilty to the charges you are facing, you retain all your legal rights and will have to work to prove your innocence throughout your case. The prosecution has the burden of proof to show you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and with an experienced attorney, you can fight the charges in court. Failing to enter a plea or missing your court appearance will result in an automatic not guilty plea, which cannot be changed or withdrawn without special permission from a judge. While most plea deal cases involve the prosecution and defendant, certain cases can include the judge who was actually in control of sentencing. While the prosecution may promise a lighter sentence when offering a plea bargain, there is no guarantee that the judge will agree to that sentence, which is why consulting with the judge can be beneficial if it is an available option in your case. Now, that's very important, because though it's up to the prosecution to offer a sentence, it's up to the judge to agree to whatever that sentence is. He has to accept it, basically, in the end. So that's very important to know. Entering what is known as a Cobb's plea allows you to make a plea deal with the judge and prosecutor, ensuring the promises made are put into effect. Another type of plea, a Kilbrew plea, allows a defendant to enter a guilty plea, conditional on the sentence the judge decides upon. Okay. If the sentence falls outside of the terms agreed to by the defendant and prosecutor, the plea can be withdrawn. That's interesting. And this is in the state of Michigan, where the Jarvis Butts case is currently going on at. But yeah, that's the end of that. I just wanted to see his possible options as far as taking a plea, if it could be offered or will be offered. Again, I don't think he's going to take a plea deal, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. But again, yes, he has his final probable cause hearing tomorrow, August 4th. I did say I would go, but unfortunately I would not be able to make it because it was rescheduled from Friday till Monday. So unfortunately I would not be able to make it at the last minute. So yeah, I do apologize for that. They've been making so many ups and downs with this case. Has been throwing people's schedules all off track. So again, I do apologize. But upcoming this week, I pretty much will be talking about the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case. Tory Lanez has an appeal that he's been given a new trial date. And I'm going to do a breakdown of that pretty much all week. But that's all I got for you guys. I just want to know, what are your thoughts? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Please be respectful and be mindful. Be careful. Be kindful to your neighbors in the chat or in the comments as well too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not, and hit the like button on your way out. That's all I got, people. Peace. Have a good one.